A little while before the very disappointing Transformers The Last Night was released, we got news revealing that a Transformers cinematic universe is being created and the very first spin-off film was going to be a Bumblebee movie. As big of a Transformers fan I am, I was not excited at all. I was like, oh, of course you're gonna make a Bumblebee movie. Bumblebee is Hasbro's money magnet. And when I say money magnet, I mean money magnet. Soon, we got our first teaser trailer. I was like, oh, okay, this looks interesting. I'm a little excited. Then we got our second and third trailer. And I was like, oh, I need to see this movie right now. This looks amazing. Then on December 20th, my friends and I went to go see Bumblebee. And I walked out that theater saying, this is the best Transformers film. And this is what I always wanted.
Transformers face the devastation. Decepticons rage, war of wars till all are one. The Autobots will fight to save us all from devastation.
The movie starts off with the war on Cybertron, and I was geeking out all the way through it. I thought I geeked out in a Spider-Verse, or that one little scene in The Last Night, or when I went to go to my first Comic-Con, but no. This scene was just beautiful, every second of it. They showed the Seekers and the Autobots, and I could actually tell who was who. I was like, hey, that's RC, that's Ratchet, that's Wheeljack, that's Brawn. This was great. And just hearing Shockwave's and Soundwave's original voice.
Decepticons, attack!
Destroy the launch pad. Let none escape.
I wish that scene was longer, but anyways, the Decepticons in this movie were fantastic. They actually had character, unlike some other ones.
What up, fellas? Man, I want to kill you right now. But I'm gonna kill you later. Definitely gonna kill you mofos later. Oh yeah, Decepticons is in the street. Look at that little blue beetle looking on. Stop playing. Here she goes. Oh yeah, Decepticons is in the street. Here she goes. Look at all walking on. Stop playing. Come on. Oh yeah, Decepticons is in the street.
Every Decepticon Bumblebee fought felt like a real threat. Even though I knew he wasn't gonna die, there were moments when I actually feared for Bumblebee's life, because the Decepticons were actually menacing. They towered over Bumblebee. Of course, the Bayverse had some pretty good Decepticons as well, like Megatron in the first film and Lockdown, but they never had any like these three. Blitzwing was only in the movie for maybe 5 minutes, and I loved them. Like, just their portrayal of Blitzwing in this movie I thought was great. Shatter and Dropkick were amazing as well, and you will actually remember these villains. You can tell them apart just by the way they acted, and we need more of that in future Transformers films. There have been a lot of complaints about the Bayverse movie saying you couldn't tell what's going on during the fight scene, and this movie fixes that. The Transformers are not all up in your face, and it is just metal clashing with metal parts flying everywhere, and I love how the Transformers use their transformation to their advantage while they're fighting. I don't remember seeing much of that in the previous films. I remember they released the first part of the scene where Bumblebee fights Blitzwing, and I kept rewatching it over and over again because I was just amazed by it. So everything about the Transformers in this movie was great. Now when you watch the Bayverse movies, you'll have all sorts of actors in them. Either they're really good, have no idea what they're doing, they just signed up to get paid, or they're just really annoying. The actors in this movie were all great. I don't have any complaints about them at all. Haley Steinfeld was absolutely amazing. This guy was hilarious. And Otis wasn't just some annoying little kid to put in a movie. He was actually really good. And her mom and stepdad did a really good job as well. A lot of people give crap to John Cena as an actor, but I think he's a really good actor. He did a pretty good job in this movie. So like, give my man some credit. I think the entire cast did a really good job. Of course, not all the jokes were funny, you know, some fell flat, but it was sure better than this.
Is this an Autobot hookup site?
Nah, just go here to dream. Check out that classy chassis. Whoa, look at the junk in her trunk, eh?
I hate to make it sound like I'm crapping all over the Babers movies, because I'm not. I love those movies. I watch them all the time. It's just, this movie took those mistakes and fixed them. Usually in the Babers movies, the formula is always the same. There's an artifact on Earth, the Decepticons are after that artifact, and the Autobots and humans must work together to stop the Decepticons from destroying the Earth. It gets old after a while. This movie does something completely different, and it works. It mainly focuses on the relationship between Charlie and Bumblebee, which I believe we didn't get enough of between Sam and Bumblebee. When I talk about this movie to other people, I always say that unlike Michael Bay, Travis Knight actually cares about the Transformers. And just like most of the people watching this movie, he's a huge fan of the Transformers. More specifically, the Generation 1 Transformers, and it shows. Now of course the Babers had references to G1 or other Transformer shows. And but this movie, you can actually see it. It doesn't compare to this movie. There's only two problems I had in this movie. One of them is just a nitpick, but the second one is kind of a major one. The first one is when Bumblebee was being interrogated, and after Dropkick and Shatter are done with him, Dropkick shoots Bumblebee point blank in the face, and he dies, but then he gets brought back to life with giant tasers. Now, I felt like if he didn't get shot in the face, and they did that scene another way to bring him back, it would have played out better. But it doesn't take away from the movie. Like, the movie's still great. It's just, you know, a nitpick I have. Yeah. But the one thing that I have a problem with this movie, and it's that it's hard to tell if this movie is a prequel or a reboot. They bring in a lot of new stuff in this film, like the way Bumblebee loses his voice, the reason the Autobots go to Earth, the time Optimus and the rest of the Autobots come to Earth, and the Transformers designs. But there's also a lot of things they bring back from the previous films, like Bumblebee's Camaro form, the Simmons cameo, Sector 7, and the reason why Megatron wasn't in the film, and that is because Megatron is already frozen on Earth. Yeah, well, you know, you see, it's kind of hard to tell which one it is, but I've been hearing that this movie is actually a reboot. They just don't want to put it out there because sometimes reboot can mean a bad thing towards a company. So yeah, that's why. And I'm happy that it's a reboot because we need something different. So before I close out, let's just say this movie was absolutely great. I walked out that theater wanting more. If you're just a casual moviegoer who isn't a huge Transformers fan, I still think you'll like this movie. It was not one of those movies where you have to watch the previous films and know what's going on. And you may not know everything or every character in this film, but it's still an enjoyable movie. But if you're a huge Transformers fan, then I can promise you, you will love this movie. I hope Travis Knight and the writers come back for future movies because Bumblebee gives me hope for more amazing Transformers films.